This is the Soft Power Podcast, episode 11. Calendar, and thanks so much for joining me. There's one particular topic I hear about all day and every day. It throws the most accomplished among us for a loop, and it's the cause of countless people RSVPing and deciding at the last moment to not show up and follow through with their commitment. Have you guessed what it is? I'm referring to conversation, the good old everyday ability to take a few minutes for a verbal volleyball. You know, you say something situationally appropriate to me, and I, being quick on my feet, have the appropriate reply that will in turn cause you to volley back to me. And before we realize it, the minimum amount of time has passed, and we can say our graceful goodbyes and part company. And wouldn't it be wonderful if conversation were always that easy? Well, in order to make interesting conversation, you must first be an interesting person. Do you consider yourself to be interesting? What are your go-to topics in business social settings? Well, tell me this. Where are you published? First, before we get started, today's episode is brought to you by Introvert to Influencer. It's my step-by-step method to help professionals and business owners who experience imposter syndrome. You know that feeling like you don't belong, and who am I to be doing this, and maybe not accomplishing your goals because you feel self-conscious, shy, or introverted. If you've experienced those or similar thoughts, you can go to businessclass.expert and get on the wait list for Introvert to Influencer. That is the key to your being able to stand out in competitive places. Now today, to be a person of influence in your field, or to be a thought leader, an expert, or even to just make it to the next round of interviews, you have to publish. And when I say publish, I'm referring to blogs, vlogs, podcasting, maybe having a YouTube channel, or maybe you just create videos on Facebook or Instagram. The bottom line is, if you're not visible, you're invisible. Just marinate in that for a moment. You have the ability and time to create something, anything, and get it out there. Think about the years and the expense you put into your education, and you're just waiting for that big opportunity to come your way. Or maybe you're self-employed and you want that client that you really want to award the contract to your firm. After all, you deserve it, right? But you're not offered that position when your superior retires, and you don't get that client's business either. And I'll tell you who got it. That colleague who doesn't have an advanced degree like you do, and she worked her way up after starting in a clerical role, and by the way, she's posted some really popular content about the industry on Medium. And she always seems to find time to offer guidance to people in your field on Quora. And that client, well, they liked you a lot, and they really respected the perspective you bring, but they liked how your competitor allowed them to see up close how the service would work for them through their YouTube videos. Soft Power Society, if you're not publishing somewhere every day or once a week at a minimum, today is your day to plant that seed and get started. Just figure out what topic you want to focus on and pick a platform, audio, video, or the written word. Then choose how many days per week you want to publish. Maybe LinkedIn's your jam, and you come up with a list of topics in your field or your niche that will bring your name and your expertise to the top of search engines whenever someone Googles or searches that topic, thus making you a recognized expert. Truly is that simple. An expert is simply a person who's known for what they know. Of course, that's you, and you should not always give that honor or that title to someone else when you're equally deserving. It doesn't matter whether you're publishing on social media or you're a regular contributor to an industry newsletter or a magazine. Just do it. This will in turn give you something to talk about and share in all those conversations that we were talking about earlier. And you'll be pleasantly surprised when the person you're speaking with is familiar with your published work. Whatever platform you publish on, I don't care as long as you're actively talking, because if you're not speaking, no one outside of your immediate circle knows you exist. Now that can be a hard pill to swallow, and it's true. You can no longer assume your resume and references are all that's needed to get your foot in the door. When the people you want to work with or the place where you want to experience that trajectory do even the most simple and basic search for your name, are they finding your expert contributions lending your voice to the conversation, or those of the person they may want to hire as your replacement? You know, that person who manages their time in a way that permits them to become a thought leader and also add some much-needed star power to their team or position in the company. There are numerous benefits to selecting your ideal platform for publishing. For starters, it allows you to control your own narrative. Publishing enables you to essentially be your own media company or publicist. You can tell your story in the way that you want and at the intervals of your choosing. When you're about to shoot a video, you can decide how to tell a story and what information to include or what to omit. Publishing also allows you to ensure that all the information included in the blog or the vlog is true, and you won't have to worry about someone else spinning your details. Did you know that only 1% of internet users actively create new content, while the other 99% of the participants consume? So by publishing, you separate yourself from the 99% of people that don't contribute in a meaningful way. And as you no doubt already know, standing out is absolutely essential in an increasingly competitive economy. Being published also helps you rise to the top in executive search firms and with job offers. When you're the person whose voice is heard on the podcast, you're able to prove you're someone who takes action and has a certain level of expertise. There's a very good chance that your efforts will help you to be seen, heard, and understood by people who may not have previously given you the time of day. You'll be pleasantly surprised by the opportunities that come your way now that people have found and are following you. It happens to all of us at some point, particularly if you love the work that you do. Sometimes you just want to add a lighthearted or different voice to the conversation, and publishing gives you the creative outlet to share your thoughts, ideas, and your passions. Posting live videos on Facebook or Instagram or recorded ones on LinkedIn is like having your very own TV show where you're the creator and the talent. You get to decide what goes into your show. In addition to having complete creative control, your charisma and personality won't be diminished by a boss or a director who wants you to tone it down or to pump it up. You can just be yourself, and how wonderful is that? Sometimes certain roles we play on a day-to-day basis take away from the creativity that we truly enjoy during our off hours. Publishing allows you to recapture that and to use it at your whim. Publishing on a regular basis also has an amazing effect on your creativity. It's like with all skills, the more you do it, the better you get at it. After purchasing the equipment, it took me 3 years to finally publish my first podcast episode, and I'm fine with that. I know that episode 100 will be better than episode number 1. And you know what? You'll evolve as well. Publishing allows you to see how you're constantly evolving. You are a constantly evolving human being as long as you are breathing. And that is the beautiful thing, and precisely how life should be. Constantly learning, growing, and sharing our gifts with others. Publishing is the best way for people to see your expertise and that your content is current. You can also update your content at your whim and promote yourself to companies far more easily by simply linking your content. Your published content is a great way to show off your expertise on a subject and establish credibility and authority. When you come across as intelligent, knowledgeable, and entertaining in a crowded niche, you'll very quickly become well-known and become the go-to authority on your subject. Your published content may speak for you before you submit a resume or respond to an RFP. So you do want to be mindful of your voice, how you're using it, and how it may play to the powers that be when it comes to monetizing your product. That's because published content is the new resume, and producing audio, video, or written work about a topic where you'd like to be viewed as an expert can illustrate to the consumers at the other end that you're skilled, knowledgeable, and perhaps have a unique perspective. Being published and contributing to important topics that are relevant to your audience establishes you as an authority in the space, and it really enhances your professional image. In fact, you should consider publishing in the 2020s to be what a business card was in years past. Your YouTube channel is your new business card. Becoming known as an expert, a thought leader, or an authority in your area of expertise will open all sorts of doors for you. Chief among them, speaking and media opportunities. Sponsored posts, book deals. I mean, really, you can't buy this type of first-hand exposure. You truly are your best and most authentic spokesperson. Publishing demonstrates your authority on a subject, and if that subject becomes topical in the media, you can seize the opportunities to fulfill your media dreams. Publishing demonstrates your authority on a subject, and if that subject becomes topical in the media, you can seize the opportunity to fulfill your media dreams. Plenty of vloggers and bloggers regularly appear on TV, they get interviewed on radio and podcast, and are interviewed by major publications just on the strength of their published work. Now, you may be thinking you don't need all of this publishing hooey because you have a website. Well, websites are still important, and if you're not self-employed, it may be difficult for you to justify why you would have a personal website, although it's certainly your right to do so. But remember that publishing brings you visibility on a regular basis. People will seek you out and subscribe to your channel or your feed, and content that's current allows people in your sphere to see you as being in touch and more involved in your business. Also keep in mind that no one is looking for your website, but your video or blog will be at the top of a Google keyword search. The best thing about publishing is that you don't have to wait until you feel like an expert. Now, I'm not at all advocating that you suffer from imposter syndrome and self-sabotage either. Actually, many very popular contributors on YouTube, blogs, and Instagram were started by people who didn't have a clear expertise at the time, but went on to develop it in the course of their journey. Every day that you don't start publishing allows a person who knows even less than you do to get started. If you're concerned about compensation for your efforts, you can absolutely earn quite a nice living by publishing, and I mean a 6- and 7-figure income. You can monetize in a number of different ways. It just depends on the platform you choose and the size of your audience. Advertisers may want to sponsor your content, and affiliate relationships pay very well. Publishers who focus on monetizing their podcasts, blogs, and video channels very often earn much more money from publishing than they would in a traditional job. With podcasting and publishing in general becoming more and more prolific, there's no doubt that it's a path to be taken very seriously. Also, publishing can very easily just be your full-time job. The best thing is the income you generate can also be passive, meaning that it's fully automated, which means that you can be paid 24/7, getting that little ding, knowing that money's being deposited into your account. When you publish, you basically have a tool or a channel to promote yourself or make you look like an expert. You'll be amazed how many people start to respect you, and there are many cases where employers actually contact bloggers and video creators directly for paid opportunities. Once you start publishing, you'll be able to open a lot of doors that you might not have been aware of or even dreamed of previously. Now, of course, the downside to not having a boss is that you have to be self-motivated in order to succeed. But I can tell you there's nothing quite so motivating as knowing that the hard work you put in will have a direct result on your bank balance. Publishing teaches you valuable life lessons in self-motivation, goal-setting, planning, and managing your time well. Now, speaking directly to the self-conscious members of the Soft Power Society, publishing is the shy or introverted person's stage. You can be the center of attention, meeting new people by gaining follows and likes, and within the safety of your own limits. Your content is your own. It's whatever you want it to be. And it's a great way of gaining confidence, whether it's in the field you're writing in or some form of creative expression. Being published regularly will undoubtedly increase your confidence. I remember back when I did my first live video and how nervous I was to put myself out there. It was a super scary prospect, but little by little, doing live videos, which is my preference over recorded video, has increased my confidence to the point where not only am I confident writing and sharing my knowledge, my ideas, and my opinions, but I'm confident enough to charge for my knowledge by way of my courses and events and coaching, and I can even stand in front of a room to share my ideas and my thoughts. Aside from having perfectionism hold me back from getting my podcast out sooner, I have to admit that the tech held me back too. Regardless of the platform you choose, you'll learn a lot about the fast-paced technological age we're in, for sure. Everything has a tech aspect. Podcast equipment, photo editing and formatting, creating a YouTube channel, whatever your needs encompass, you'll soon find all of this information is readily available, and so are virtual assistants who can handle many of the time-consuming aspects for you. Let's face it, the internet isn't going anywhere, so I'm encouraging you to just dig in and start publishing and use it as a way to just stay current with all the tech tools available that were once only in the hands of technicians at big major companies. Once you move beyond any hesitation and hiccups caused by learning the tech, you'll find that an audience is ready and waiting for you. So by producing regular, high-quality content and growing your authority, you'll begin to attract ideal viewers, listeners, and all those people who are interested in what you have to say. People who might be interested in buying your products or services, supporting your point of view, or joining you in your cause, all because your content provided something of value to them before you asked for anything in return. Keep in mind that in a traditional job, you pretty much have to do what you're told to do. That includes doing aspects of your job that you don't particularly enjoy, and it often means doing things you don't consider to be in your job description. With publishing, you get to pick and choose what you do, which opportunities you say yes to and which you turn down, and which production activities you enjoy and do yourself and which you outsource or just decide to completely forego. Totally up to you, and that's the beautiful thing about it. Publishing is far more than learning new skills and the confidence you gain from launching and growing a successful side hustle or a full-blown business. It teaches you to be more resilient and to take risks, to seize opportunities and to plan carefully and set goals and to be resourceful and manage your time well. You'll have to learn quickly and probably do even more things that I didn't name. The final and perhaps most important reason to start publishing is it creates lots of opportunities for you, and circling back to the start of this episode, you'll have so much more to add to your conversations. So, what are you waiting for? I think it's time for you to get out there and create your own little space on the internet, and you won't regret it. The power of publishing is ridiculous. So stop squandering your time searching for like-minded people and create a magnet for them that's so strong that they can easily find you. How do you get started? Think of every video you shoot, every blog post you write, and every podcast episode you record as a brick that you're laying on a brand new road. And every subsequent piece of published content continues to build that road with another brick. And when you're purposeful about laying those bricks perfectly and intentionally, your followers will easily be able to find you. There's a niche out there for absolutely everything, and you can create something that hundreds and thousands of people would love to talk about and also be happy and proud to call you their leader. Remember, if you're not purposefully being visible, you're invisible. You have a lot to add to the conversation, and right now, that conversation is happening. So you should be a part of it. And if you're hesitant about sharing your expertise online, or you feel like you may not be as good at expressing yourself as your competitors, I invite you to join the Introvert to Influencer Facebook group. I'll be happy, so happy to provide you with any support that you need as you get started. Thanks for joining me today. Bye for now.